Hey there, Beerfield Fantasy family. We're back here on Wednesday. We're going to hit you with some quick news today on our first episode that I'm dropping tonight. We just have a few things here. It's mostly kind of getting our initial injury reports in for the week. As always, if you want to ask us any questions throughout the week, though, well, before I jump into the news, you can tweet at us at BeerfieldFF on Twitter is the best place to reach us. Individually, I'm your host here on Wednesday night. I'm at Nick Sparts. Behind me, you've got at ThurryBFF. With two F's, as he would like to say. And the third person you can hit up if you have any questions is at HopBFF with two P's. Ask us any questions you got. Follow us on there, and we'll keep you up to date with any news we get during the day. If it's anything major, we like to tweet it out with a quick comment there, just so you guys get your eyes in front of it. But these episodes, if you're a frequent watcher, you know this is our chance to give you some of the basic news that's happened today and kind of give you a quick reaction to it, just so you don't have to wait for the Monday, Wednesday, Friday podcast to get updated on that. So with that, let's quick jump into what's happened today. First piece of news, and this is the big one, is that it looks like Odell Beckham is more likely to play this week than last week, but more of an optimistic sense than just the obvious sense of he's had another week to heal. It sounds like he's more likely than not to play this week. I don't know what type of condition he's going to be in, so I'm not going to be super optimistic in my rankings. He'll probably come in as a high wide receiver 2, reflecting that there is some serious upside because it's Odell Beckham. Easily the best weapon on the Giants, will demand serious attention from the cornerbacks. If he's not at 100%, though, he could be kind of a partial decoy situation and may not quite get you what you're looking for. So hopefully he can give us a great game. I love watching him play, and I don't want to see the Giants' offense as absolutely terrible as it was this last week. So cross your fingers that he suits up and is 100% ready to go, because it's more fun when he's playing. Cardinals coach Bruce Arians said Kerwin Williams will be the first and second down starter. Andre Ellington will be taking the third down passing down work. I expect there's probably situations where they'll work both of them onto the field as well. This is kind of what we expected. Chris Johnson will take over probably in a few weeks as the third back, but for now it's just going to be Kerwin Williams and Andre Ellington while Chris Johnson is getting back into practice and into the swing of things. I don't currently have Andre Ellington ranked, but with this news coming out, I may put him into my 45 to 50-ish range, just kind of a desperation PPR flex. And then Kerwin Williams is a high-end running back 4 for me, so he's around like 38 to 40. I'll probably keep him there just because there's always an upside chance at a touchdown, and they're going to be desperate to get anybody the ball on that offense because they just have no weapons left outside of Fitzgerald and John Brown. D.D. Westbrook underwent his core muscle surgery this week. Normally I wouldn't even be talking about this, but with Allen Robinson out, there's now going to be desperate for somebody to come in and be a playmaker. And I'm not sure Marquise Lee or Alan Hearns can be a number one. D.D. Westbrook was a Blitnikoff winner in college last year. He's the best receiver in the country per that award. I don't think he actually was the best receiver. I think it was probably Corey Davis. But he won that award, had a great season out of Oklahoma, and he had a great preseason before he had his core muscle injury. So at this point, they've shut him down. He can't be back until week 9 at the earliest, I believe. And then at that point, he has a chance to come in and possibly win this job as the number 1 receiver. It's not going to be a super valuable position. This is going to be a run-first offense. Rely on that pass rush on the defense to keep you close in games and try to grind the opponent's defense into dust. So you won't be a super valuable player even if he wins the job, but he would be worth rostering, especially in 12 or 14 team leagues. As we get closer to week 9, he's definitely a player that I think should be rostered if you're in any sort of 14, 16 team league. It's just a dart throw type play. So keep an eye on that and wait to hear some of his recovery news over the next couple weeks. Coach Pete Carroll says he is anxious to see more of running back rookie Chris Carson. Rawls is back to 100% practice, so the Seattle backfield just got worse. I do have Rawls as my number 1 guy. I think he has the most trust of the coaches, so he probably gets the first crack at it this next week. Carson is my number 2 ranked guy, and I have Procise barely inside of my top 50. I did not rank Eddie Lacy. As we talked about in the podcast that dropped late last night, so it's been about 24 hours since that one came out. Eddie Lacy's droppable unless you're in about a 16-team league at this point. He looked awful. He only had 5 carries. He just didn't have enough snaps, and he doesn't look like he has it, especially behind that terrible offensive line. So, bye, Lacy. We don't need you anymore. Cut your ropes with that. If you can swap out Lacy for Carson at this point, I think you have more upside there, and it's a better dart throw on your team. Or if you can grab Rawls. Those would be the 2 guys I'd be looking at. Procise is still more floor. He probably should get a few catches a game when the rails don't come off like they did against Green Bay. So it should have some weekly value, but it doesn't look like he's going to get enough touches for the home run hit we were hoping out of him this year. Devontae Booker returned to practice Wednesday. He's not playing week 2. It sounds like they are targeting a week 3 return. The reason I included this note is because I don't particularly see any value in Booker unless you're interested in crazy deep league. But for 12-team leagues that C.J. Anderson is probably starting on most teams that he's rostered, this is a bit of a concern because he may lose some touches. I loved seeing him get 20-something touches between the rushes and catches in this first week game against San Diego, and I want to see that continue to happen. So Booker coming back kind of puts the dampers on that a little bit. He probably drops down to more of a 15 to 18 touch guy, which, while still startable, is going to hurt his upside. So unfortunately, I think he only gets 2 weeks without Booker in there. So Charles, Booker, and Anderson will all be splitting work. Anderson is still the one to start, but his value is going to be capped a little bit once Booker's back. On to injury news for the Thursday night game. Ryan Griffin, Brian Cushing, Bruce Ellington, Steven Anderson, and C.J. Fedorowicz are all confirmed out with concussions. So an entire team went and Jordan Reed to themselves, as I joked in the Tuesday night episode we just dropped for you guys. It's not good news. They have nobody at tight end this week, so Watson is going to be a little desperate for pass catchers. The good news is Jalen Strong is back off of his suspension. If you are looking for a second pass catcher on that offense, it would be Jalen Strong. I didn't rank him just because I hate ranking fringe Thursday night players. But if you were really, really desperate, that would be the one to take a target on. I think the only 2 startable players, though, on the Texans offense is going to be Lamar Miller and DeAndre Hopkins. That'll be it. Nobody else. Probably don't even bother considering it. Houston's defense is also going to be startable, and on the Cincy side of the ball, you basically have AJ Green and maybe Tyler Eifert. It's going to be an ugly Thursday night game. I'm sorry we'll have to sit through it. Speaking of Thursday night, John Rush is questionable for week 2. With the short week, I don't think he goes. I think he'll need one more week of rest, which he gets a long week since he plays Thursday night, so he'll get 10 days off, and then I think he'll finally be ready to show us something here in week 3, and we get to see what all the hype was about before he goes and breaks himself again. Last one, Danny Amendola is not practicing Wednesday. If Danny Amendola goes, he's a wide receiver 3 for me, and he should be starting on any sort of semi-deepish or extended starting lineup type roster. So you have double flex, start 3 wide receivers in a flex, that type of situation where you need more receiving talent, especially if you're in any sort of PPR league. He was easily the best looking receiver last week. He's playing an even easier defense here where a slot type guy like Thielen just absolutely crushed the Saints. Amendola can do the exact same to them. He is easily a wide receiver 3. I think I've got him around 30 if he can go. If he's out, shift a little bit of those targets to Chris Hogan, but overall just downgrade the offense. I wasn't impressed with Hogan when he has to run outside. He needs Dorsett to step into his zone and allow Hogan to move back into the slot before he becomes really valuable. He just doesn't seem to run well outside when he's going against number 1 corners. That's all I've got for news today. We don't have any real major announcements at the moment that I like to go over. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who's been giving us props after week 1. We had a lot of fun nailing a couple of our picks this early in the season. There was a lot of guys we weren't expecting to pop until maybe week 8 or 10. The big ones for us were Tariq Cohen and Cooper Kupp. Both had amazing week 1s. They were top waiver wire priorities. If people were listening to us, we got a lot of thanks for saying, hey, I already had this guy because you guys were talking him up so much. So we appreciate that. As always, tweet at us any comments, criticisms, love, props you want to give us to @BeerFueledFF. Individually, I am @Nick Sparts. I'm here Wednesdays and Saturdays. I'm going to be back in a little bit here with another episode. We're going to talk about my sits and starts and sits of the week. And then on Saturdays, I cover in and out for you. Dan Thury @ThuryBFF will be back tomorrow, where he's going to do his watch list and deep dive players for both deeper leagues and Dynasty. And then he'll do news for you as well. And then on Friday, you've got Hopper back with news and a DFS segment for you guys. So thank you so much for checking us out. Like and subscribe to help grow this channel because we want to keep bringing good content to you guys. The bigger this gets, the more easy that becomes. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow.